Today, we're venturing deep into the icy heart of Russia's Ural Mountains to explore one of the most chilling and enduring mysteries of the 20th century, the Dyatlov Pass Incident. This is a story that has baffled investigators, inspired countless theories, and continues to haunt the public imagination more than 60 years later. So grab a warm drink, settle in, and let's journey back to that fateful winter of 1959. Our story begins with a group of 9 experienced hikers, mostly students and graduates from the Ural Polytechnical Institute. They were young, adventurous, and highly skilled in wilderness survival. Led by 23-year-old Igor Dyatlov, the team embarked on what was supposed to be a challenging but manageable ski expedition through the northern Urals. Their goal was to reach Otorten Mountain, a name which, in the local Mansi language, translates to "don't go there." A prophetic warning, perhaps. The group consisted of 7 men and 2 women, all in their early 20s. They were full of life, documenting their journey with cameras and keeping detailed diaries. These photos and journal entries paint a picture of a happy, cohesive team, enjoying the stark beauty of the winter landscape. They were smiling, working together, and facing the challenges of the expedition with high spirits. Little did they know these would be the last records of their lives. On January 28th, one member, Yuri Yudin, was forced to turn back due to illness. This twist of fate would make him the sole survivor of the expedition. The remaining 9 pressed on. Their plan was to reach their destination and send a telegram back home by February 12th. When that day came and went with no word, their families began to worry. At first, the delay wasn't seen as a major cause for alarm. Mountain expeditions often face setbacks, but as days turned into weeks, a sense of dread began to grow. A full-scale search and rescue operation was launched. On February 26th, the search party made their first discovery. High on the slopes of a mountain ominously named Kolat Shachel, or Dead Mountain, they found the group's tent. And what they found was deeply unsettling. The tent was half buried in snow and had been sliced open from the inside. It was clear the hikers had fled in a hurry, leaving behind all their warm clothing, boots, and supplies in the sub-zero temperatures. Following a trail of footprints leading away from the tent, searchers were confronted with an even grimmer scene. The tracks, some made by bare feet, others by socks or a single boot, led down the slope toward a patch of woods about a mile away. Under a large cedar tree, they found the first 2 bodies. They were dressed only in their underwear and were next to the remains of a small, hastily built fire. The branches of the cedar tree above them were broken up to a height of 5 meters, suggesting someone had tried to climb it, perhaps to get a better view or escape from something. The search continued. A short distance away, between the cedar tree and the camp, 3 more bodies were found, including that of Igor Dyatlov himself. Their position suggested they were attempting to return to the tent when they succumbed to the freezing cold. For months, this was all they found. It seemed like a tragic, albeit strange case of a group getting lost and freezing to death. But the mystery was far from over. 2 months later, in May, after the snow had begun to melt, the final 4 hikers were discovered in a ravine buried under more than 10 feet of snow, not far from the cedar tree. And this is where the story takes its darkest turn. Unlike the first 5, who were determined to have died from hypothermia, these 4 had suffered horrific, violent injuries. One had a severely fractured skull. 2 others had major chest fractures, the kind of damage a medical examiner compared to the force of a high-speed car crash. Most chillingly, one of the women was missing her tongue and eyes. The official investigation at the time concluded that the hikers had died as a result of a compelling natural force. The case was abruptly closed and the files were classified, fueling decades of speculation. What could have caused 9 experienced hikers to slash their way out of their tent and run, half-dressed, into a blizzard? What was this compelling natural force? Over the years, theories have ranged from the plausible to the outright bizarre. The most straightforward explanation is an avalanche. Proponents of this theory suggest that a slab avalanche could have hit the tent, causing the initial panic. The internal injuries of the last 4 could be explained by the crushing weight of the snow in the ravine where they were found. Recent studies using modern simulations have even shown this is a possibility. However, critics point out that the tent wasn't buried and the hikers' tracks were visible. An avalanche would have likely wiped everything away. Then there are the more sensational theories. One popular idea involves a secret Soviet weapons test. Could the hikers have accidentally stumbled upon something they weren't supposed to see? Some locals and other witnesses reported seeing strange orange spheres or lights in the sky around the time of the incident. The presence of low-level radioactive traces on some of the hikers' clothing added fuel to this fire, though the levels were considered minor. Another theory points to the local Mansi people who considered the mountains sacred. However, the investigation found no evidence of other people being involved. The nature of the injuries didn't align with a human attack, and the Mansi were known to be peaceful. What about an animal attack? Again, no tracks other than the hikers were found, and the injuries weren't consistent with any known predator in the region. And of course, we can't ignore the paranormal and UFO theories. The strange lights, the bizarre injuries, and the overall weirdness of the scene have led many to believe that something from beyond our understanding was at play. While these theories are fascinating, they lack concrete evidence and remain firmly in the realm of speculation. A more recent scientific theory suggests something called infrasound. This is sound at a frequency so low humans can't hear it, but it can induce feelings of panic, dread, and nausea. Certain wind patterns interacting with the mountain's topography, a phenomenon known as a Kármán vortex street, could potentially generate powerful infrasound, causing the group to experience irrational terror and flee their tent. This could explain the panic, but it doesn't fully account for the severe physical trauma. So where does that leave us? Even today, with declassified documents and modern scientific analysis, there is no single theory that perfectly explains every strange detail of the Dyatlov Pass incident. The avalanche theory, perhaps combined with the panic-inducing effects of infrasound, seems to be the most grounded explanation favored by recent Russian investigations. It suggests a sequence of tragic events. A small avalanche forces a panicked nighttime evacuation. Disoriented and hypothermic, the group splits up. Some freeze while trying to start a fire, others try to return to the tent, and the final 4 fall into a ravine, sustaining fatal injuries in the fall and from the weight of the snow. Yet lingering questions remain. Why were the injuries so selective and so severe? Why was the tongue missing? It's possible it was the result of natural decay and scavenging animals in the ravine, but it's an undeniably gruesome detail. The Dyatlov Pass incident is a perfect storm of mystery, a remote location, a group of relatable young people, and a set of bizarre, seemingly contradictory clues. It's a puzzle with too many missing pieces. The story serves as a stark reminder of the power of nature and the fragility of human life in the face of it. But it's the unanswered questions that ensure its legacy. It forces us to confront the unknown and to accept that some mysteries may never be fully solved. The 9 hikers went looking for adventure and found an enigma that has outlived them by decades. Their final, terrifying journey on Dead Mountain has become a permanent, chilling fixture in the annals of unsolved mysteries. What do you think happened on that frozen slope in 1959? Was it a natural disaster, a military cover-up, or something else entirely? Let me know your theories in the comments below. It's a case that invites endless discussion.